You know what's the crazy thing about Saturday?
Huh.
Was that you went through the Dillashaw fight, you went through the Jacek fight, and then you still had George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
That was such an awesome fight.
And the GSP,
Right?
Oh, I love that fight.
If you could go to one of those casinos where you could like bet on things, like, you know, there's ones where you could sit in a football game and instead of just betting on who's going to win or who's up at the half, you can bet on like the next play is going to go left, next play is going to go right. Or even you bet on a game at halftime, right? And say, like, based on what I saw in the first half, here's what I think is going to happen in the second half. I would have lost a fortune. Because I even looked at my notes from that fight. And I'm like, I sat here. Here's my notes. I'm writing this. What round did it end in? Second round?
Third
Round. Well, here's what I'm writing early in the third round. GSP, guys don't come back older and heavier. No spring and bounce like he used to have. He's slower. He's got no cardio. He used to get in and out so fast with that jab. Now he's in, then sits there for a little bit, open, possibly to get hit, and then gets out. And then the next line says, then he wins. Then he wins, LOL. Like, I was literally going, all right. Because you guys kept, or Joe Green said, is this the best GSP ever? I'm like, no, GSP was like, he used to have he had so much bounce, and he was like so fast in and out, and like, this was like, you know, super buff GSP, but
he was huge.
But he was more like kind of like, you know, he was so light on his feet before. Now it felt like he was just kind of doom. And there was
he's older.
Yeah,
he's older.
Yeah, but it felt like that was going to be his problem.
Heavier. I mean,
but then I
thought he looked good, man.
No, he did look good, but he wasn't. It's hard because you're thinking of like GSP good
4 years ago,
and so you're like, he looks like GSP. He looks like a bigger GSP. Like remember when he fought Koscheck and he was just in and out with the jab so fast, and guys can't even like. He would just jab him, and then he'd be out of range so fast. So it was actually, I was positive. I was like, oh, okay, he's carrying this extra.
It was very odd. It was very odd because he had Michael kind of fighting on his back foot, which is not what Bisping does ever.
Yeah, which is weird.
Bisping's a forward pressure fighter.
Because Bisping gets up so fast when someone takes him down, so it feels like he maybe was a little too worried about getting taken down.
Yes, I think so.
And when he got him down was when he did all the damage. So in hindsight, he probably was like, shit, I should have just let him take me down whenever.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, so listen to this. What about the post-fight interview when George goes, I don't want to like say anything bad about Michael, but we noticed that he doesn't.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up.
Right? From that side of his body when.
That's the eye that's fucked up, right?
Exactly, dude. It's like common knowledge that, he can't see you, man.
How does he get cleared? How does he get cleared to fight each time?
That's one thing that I can never figure out. I have not figured that out yet.
I mean, is it something where it's like, is it written, like, I'm not being sarcastic, because it's one of those things where it's like, listen, you don't have to be able to see, like, you don't have to have peripheral vision, but you got to sign a waiver saying, I got no peripheral vision, but I'm still ready to go in there.
They don't do that, man, because I've had a couple times where just little shit was like, maybe this is bad, Daniel, and they just kind of don't let me they're like trying to not let me fight. They make me go to the doctor and see specialists and all kinds of stuff like that. There's no way they would see Mike's eye and go, well, if you sign a waiver, you can do this.
So how does he do it? Is it like, well, I've done it before, and they go, you know what? He's fought at the highest level with this problem, so it's not a problem?
I don't know. I really don't know. Dude, one time Mark Coleman got licensed to fight, and I was like, how? How is this even possible? I was like, Coleman barely can even talk anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he should be fighting.
What,
he got licensed.
Bisping is a great, like, I don't know, not interview. He just doesn't change. Like, it doesn't matter what just happened. He just talks like, fuck, what happened?
He's a dude. That's him, bro.
Yeah.
He's like,
he doesn't have to think or act. He just however he is naturally is like,
what you gonna get?
Awesome.
You know, obviously we've had history with Mike at AKA with Luke and everything, but as I've worked with him more, I've come to appreciate him more and like him more because, like you said, it is what it is, man. What you see is what you get with Bisping, and he's one of the greatest overachievers the sport has ever seen.
Yeah.
Nobody would have ever thought Michael Bisping would be UFC champ, career leader in wins in the UFC's history. That wasn't his that wasn't his path. You know, that was not supposed to be for Michael Bisping.
But he was so good on the Ultimate Fighter. Like, people forget he was really good on the Ultimate Fighter for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, but you didn't think that was his career path, man.
No, I think I liked him because he was English and I was born in England. But this was also a fight for the first time in a long time where I was looking forward to the post-fight press conference. I was like, oh, I gotta watch. Went out and checked on my wife and kids. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go watch the press conference. And then I was actually kind of bummed that the format was back to one at a time, because that would have been, if you could have put everyone back up on that stage the way it used to be, or everyone in front of the microphones, that would have been an awesome press conference. Because just the uncomfortableness of the questions and the highs and lows of one person answering it while the other person just sits there fuming, and like just them, how they always, when they always put the belts in front of them, and the person that doesn't have the belt always like leans forward on the table and looks over and just looks so pissed off that the belt is now on the other side of the table.
Oh yeah,
I was looking forward to that. Dude. Yeah,
that shit sucks. That happened to me once, and well, now it's like it's an individual format, right? Like scrum style. Yeah. It's like a media scrum where they just kind of circle around you, you know. So
and Bisping was funny. He's like, they're all, what are you thinking? He's like, I'm thinking about, I got to get to the bar before it closes. He's like, and he's like, dude, my wife over there probably has plans tomorrow. Hey, honey, those plans are closed. I'm gonna shut this bar down. I'm gonna be in bed all day tomorrow. It was like, it was awesome. Just sitting there going,
that's who he is, right?
Yeah.
But would you expect anything different though from Michael Bisping?
No, it was hilarious.
It's like what you come to expect from him, man. That's who he is, man. It was I talked to him today and kind of gave him a message, you know, told him that it was cool to see him in that big spot, because if anyone deserves it, you know, it was him.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there watching him up there on, you know, and I was like, wow, Michael Bisping headlining Madison Square Garden. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
As a fan of the sport, you know, it was cool to see him get that honor.
It sounds like I was a little conflicted, because I felt like he was ready to retire, and then he decided, well, he said it, I don't want my last time in the fucking cage to be getting choked out, and it felt like
that's dangerous, man. Because
I felt like you're overthinking this. No one, even 10 minutes later, no one's even thinking about you getting choked out. Like, if you're ready to retire, you should retire. What's the point of coming back for one more fight? You know, like that was.
So there's a danger to that thought, right? There's a danger to that thought process, because if you win, then you start to think, I still got it.
Yeah.
But if you lose, then you're still chasing that last win. You know, it's a dangerous proposition to keep chasing.
What do you think will I mean, GSP was pretty evasive in that post-fight interview. I remember I texted Bob and I said, well, sounds like Rockhold's fighting Whittaker next, because GSP sure as hell not fighting Whittaker.
It did not sound like he was going to fight Robert.
No. Right? But it sounded like contractually he was supposed to, right?
It sounded like he was contractually obligated to fight at least once. So
it was also confusing, because he's like, well, he started mumbling about the weight, and it gets harder, and then he had to put on the weight and he had to do it safe, and then there becomes a time where, and it was like, wait, is he saying there comes a time where now I'm okay because I did it slowly, or is he saying now I've done it and there comes a time where it's just not safe anymore, so I need to go back? It was like confusing.
I got it.
What do you think will happen?
It was very confusing. I think he fights one. I think he does the Whittaker fight because he has to.
Yeah.
I really do believe he does the Whittaker fight because I think he has to do the Whittaker fight, honestly. Yeah. I don't think he can not. Like, I think he'd prefer not to. But I don't think that he cannot fight that fight. I think he has to, you know.
Whittaker was great. They did a close up of him. And he looks at the guy next to him and he mouths, what the fuck? Like, he's like, I'm fighting GSP. I couldn't figure out, I'm like, is he thinking they're going, what the fuck? GSP beat Bisping and I never thought that was possible? Or is he thinking, what the fuck? I'm going to be super famous because I'm fighting GSP? Or is he thinking, I'm getting some pay-per-view points.
He's about to get rich.
GSP.
Yeah. More than anything, I think he's getting like, I'm about to make some real money.
Yeah. Who do you think was the biggest star of the night?
I gotta say Rose Namajunas, man. I know that's hard to think, you know, but I gotta say Rose.
I guess the order of
I mean,
fights you kind of like you were like, oh shit, and then 2 fights later that seemed so long ago, but it was the most dominant performance against the biggest odds.
Yeah,
it was against the biggest odds, most dominant performance. She she was a star before, but that's the type of performance that you dream about. Those, they don't come very often, man. Like, and she did something that not many people thought she could do, her and her coaches, and she got it done. You know, overall, UFC 217 was exactly what the UFC needed, man. It was a great night, great time in the garden, actually. You know, so
speaking of the garden.